Hi guys, and welcome to another Dragonheir Silence God video. Guys, in today's video we're going to jump back into the Vortex and we're going to test a few comps of the same school of damage because the rules this week has changed and they are very favoring one specific type of champion. I've used this comp or similar comp last season doing more than 25 million. I wanted to test this season how far I can push this early in the season because I don't have yet my last level of the Psychic Core fully maxed out. I am just lacking that because I'm trying to balance out my account and being able to do the Chief Challenge during the season. So I wanted to build this new comp with a champion that I've pulled recently, and if you watch my video or if you haven't watched it, you should go watch it and you're gonna know which champion was. So I needed to test this champion on the Vortex because he's very, very particular. I've invested the scroll on him, so I was really interested. Other champions we're going to bring over here are some epic, some legendary. One legendary is not even a scroll. And I've tested side by side the same gear across of them. Now, quick disclaimer, my gear is not that great. We are basically just entering the second phase of the season where the Chief Challenge open. We just recently started farming intensively the gear. Some of my gear for this specific type of champion, it's not ideal. But let's jump into the Vortex, let's read the rules, and we're going to see from there of what champions we're talking about. So the rules read like this: ally attack speed is increased by 50% and basic attack damage is increased by 25%. When you read this line, you should think straight away Dauntless. Dauntless champions, anything they do is basically considered basic attack. In this week rules, they basically have 50% more attack speed, which is going to be incredible. And they scale from that usually, and they're going to have 35% more damage every time they do anything on their basic attack. You can use other comps. Obviously, other comps are improved compared to other weeks. I've used my Ice Blast team, for example. They put a lot of buff on themselves, and then also they triggered this second part where each time an ally gains a buff, they gain 1 stack of healing over time for 10 seconds. I've been able to push my Ice Blast team even farther than I did last week, but was not enough to get to 25 million, and I wanted to test Dauntless Champion, as I said before. So let's jump into it. I'm going to put all 4 comps up on the screen. We're going to talk about the gear, the timing, and then we're going to see the runs and the results that I had at the end. So comp number 1 is going to be composed by Furbat, Nathaniel, Shelter, Nimbus, and Ivelios. Ivelios is the champion that I pulled recently. I was so excited to use it, so I had to build it straight away. I put all my scrolls into it because obviously they never go where I want. None of them went to the passive until I booked all the rest. The champion builds are going to be the same across each comp. So if I show you the builds for Furbat, for example, it should be up on the screen right now. That build is going to be any of this composition. The same goes for Nathaniel. He's going to be built in the same way in every of this comp. Now, the build of Nathaniel here is very peculiar. I've used the 0 set with the Crown of the Unclean on him because his ultimate hit the boss, and I want him to be the one placing the decreased defense because I want to try damage from all the other damage dealer in the same contest. So basically, I want them to be able to be built in the best way to do damage. It's not ideal. I don't think you should do it, but really it's interesting. I got some good results with it, but it's very inconsistent. You might have to do your Vortex run a few times. Now, the next champion up is going to be Shelter. Shelter is an amazing epic. He's a melee champion. He does damage through his basically passive. He does derivative damage, so you have to build Enlightenment on him. Use the ink as artifact is the way to go with him. The next champion up is going to be the incredible Nimbus. Nimbus is also a ranged champion instead. He is Dauntless, obviously. His damage is going to basically scale from his attack speed. So the wine glass is the perfect artifact on him. It's going to give him extra attack speed. And then you have to build him probably with the Gambler set. He's going to fire off so many attacks with his passive that is going to be incredible on his ultimate and the passive combined. The next champion up is going to be Ivelios. I've built Evelios with the sets to basically do more damage or ignore defense through the Enlightenment. And I've given him the RP nails because most of his damage comes from his passive. He's going to hit the boss every single time that someone else basically do an attack. And this damage is going to build up very, very quickly. The 5th champion we're going to test is going to be Suta. Suta is built with the Inventor set because it's my basically best set for damage dealing in this season. You can definitely make the case to build her with the Gambler set and use maybe some different artifact. The situation I'm in right now needed that music box to get the crit rate and get her crit rate up to 80%. I can play around more gears if I want to, but I'm not going to be able to get that crit rate up to 80%, which you need to be to crit every single time. And when she crits, she's going to basically enable more damage from the pairings that are going to bring with her. So these are the builds from the champions, and let's have a look at the timing. The timing is going to be the same on each of them. I've only timed Furbat and Nathaniel. I want Furbat to place the decreased attack at 21.6, which is the last valuable moment. You can push him probably to 21.65, sorry. But it's the last valuable moments before the ultimate hit from the boss, and you're going to be able to cover the A1 and the A2 of the circle after. So this means that these lightning strikes that is going to do on your highest HP champion, in my case Furbat, it's going to do less damage. It's going to prolong your fight longer because when your tank usually die, your comps is going to die very soon. I've used Nathaniel instead on 11.6. Is these farthest I can get from the decreased attack. Basically 10 seconds after the decreased attack is going to fall off, Nathaniel is going to put up the shield and increase defense. This should get me by on the A3 and prolong my fight. I want the two to compensate each other basically. When I don't have the decreased attack, I want to have the increased defense and the shield. They both time at 20-second rotation as the boss. And none of the other champion is time in any of this fight. As you can see, I've scrolled my epic. I didn't scroll Suta because I don't have the scroll to book her yet. I might consider doing it in the future based on the result of this testing. But for the moment, she's not scrolled. This probably make her more comparable to epic champion like Shagrove, for example, which is also a melee champion with a sort of similar kit that can do a lot of damage on the Vortex. I don't have him built, but I think it can be a good replacement for this comp, for example, and you can get good results with them too. Now, enough talking about the preparation. Let's put up on the screen the fight so we can talk about what happens in each of them and how the fight rolls, basically. We're going to see the amount of healing coming from this comp is going to be incredible. Now, if you are in a position where you own Furbat and Nathaniel, you are basically set for the Vortex for this rotation of Affinity for Season 2, because Furbat brings the decreased attack and a lot of healing in proximity with him. Nathaniel brings increased defense, shield, continuous heals. It's going to remove the decreased defense that the boss puts on your champion. It is absolutely incredible, and this pairing, it's perfect to be able to bring 3 damage dealer. Now, if you don't have Dauntless, you can consider bringing something else. You might have to lose the 5-mana affinity. Dauntless is perfect for this fight because the boss basically does only those skills, and you can get the damage away from them quite easily. They are very good damage dealer. Each of them, you can check also some epics, maybe some rares. I haven't tested them all, but they do very good damage. Now, if I had to suggest some champions, as I said, Nimbus is incredible. Shalter and Shagrolls are probably the 3 stand out from the epic rarity. I have a lot of Dauntless Legendary, and we testing today Evelios, as I said. We're gonna bring Suta. I could also build Garrett. I haven't built him yet. He has a similar kit to Suta in a way. He does a lot of attacks. He has many multi-hit on his ultimate and battle skills. So it could be also a good pairing for triggering Evelios passive. I might consider building him in the future. if I can get consistently above the 25 million, even when the rules are going to change at the end of this week. But I think it's time to skip to the end of the fight for all 4 of them, and we're going to discuss what are the damage for each of them and see what are the results on this testing. Here we go, guys. You can see on the screen the 4 results for my 4 test run with this 4 different DPS in different combinations supported by Furbat and Nathaniel. Let's start from the comp that did the least damage, which is 24.2 million done by Shelter, Nimbus, and Ivelius. The output of the 3 champion, it's very interesting. They are very close in damage, even if you consider the different builds and one of them being legendary for the scroll. I believe this is because the triggering of the passive of Ivelius in this combination is not ideal. But nevertheless, the composition gets so close to the 25 million, maybe with a little bit better RNG, some better gear, and maybe if you start working on your last level of the Psychic Core, getting less damage from the boss, doing more damage with your champions, maybe you can get above 25 million easily. This is not the case for me. I wanted to keep this test quite relatable for people that are still coming up to the game. And this week, we're going to try to maybe get to the next level, maybe get to stage 4, or maybe get to those 25 million and they don't have a fully stacked out account. The next composition that did a little bit more damage, it's 25.7 million basically, and is a combination with Suta, Shelter, and Nimbus. This comp, it's really good in my opinion. Again, some better gear, some more Psychic Core. You will get even further than this. Suta is an amazing legendary. She's not scrolling this test, and she's still out damaged most of the other champion in any of the runs we're gonna see. She did here 9.6 million, Shelter did 8.9, and Nimbus did 6.1 million, 6.2 almost. They are all interesting score. As you can see, they are comparable to what they did with Ivelius, but Ivelius didn't really bring that much more compared to Suta in this case, for example. Things are going to change where we're going to pair Suta with Ivelius, and we're going to see some different results of it there too. And that brings me to the next comp up, which has exactly Suta, Nimbus, and Shelter. This comp did almost 28 million, and Suta has overdamaged anyone else with 10 million.8, doing 1 million more than the other comp we've seen before. Here Ivelius does pretty much the same damage that it did in the first comp we've seen. So it doesn't look like it gets enhanced so much only from Suta. And the combination with Shelter maybe is a bit redundant. They both did damage from their passive. It's all derivative damage. It's difficult to build them both maybe with good gear. And Shelter doesn't do a lot of attacks, and this basically doesn't enhance the passive from Ivelius. Things are changing where we're combining Suta, Ivelius, and Nimbus. Nimbus had the opportunity to shoot so much from his ultimate because he has the increased attack speed from Ivelius as well, and therefore he's going to increase the number of hits that he does on his ultimate, and we're gonna break the 31 million, so it's 4 millions more than we've done with the closest comp. And the damage output, it's interesting because Suta is gonna do 11 million.5, almost 1 million more than what she did in the previous composition we've seen. Ivelius is gonna jump from 8.5 million all the way to 11.4 million. 11.3 is a big jump. It's very interesting because we've seen how the combinations of passive and skills are triggered in this situation, and Nimbus is going to bring an honest 7.1 million damage, which is the highest score in the other 3 tests where it was combined in this comp. Obviously, that is due to the increased attack speed from Ivelius on his battle skills. This comp is really, really nice. 31 million is a most than respectable result. Obviously, I'm using a comp with 2 legendary for my highest score. We were expecting that from the beginning, to be honest. But consider also that Suta is not scroll, and my gear is not that good neither. She has the arcane music box, which doesn't really suit her at the best. She has a little bit more damage because obviously Nathaniel has the shield, so she's gonna do more damage when she has shields with the arcane music box. But nevertheless, I think she will do more damage with maybe the RP nails. But I have the RP nails on Ivelios, and therefore I couldn't move it around in this test. I'm gonna keep testing the artifacts combination, but the direction I'm gonna go obviously is gonna be with these 2 legendary. Nevertheless, don't forget that the other scores were very close or above the 25 million, even bringing 2 epics into the fight and a legendary that was not scroll like Suta. If you have Shug Roll, you're probably going to be able to do very close to this damage. And if your gear is better than mine, maybe you do even more damage than me. So guys, this is everything for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. This testing took me quite some time, and I think it gave you a good feeling of where you can push your Dauntless team for this week on the boss. Obviously, next week the rules are going to change again. It's going to be fire, so we're going to see some other comps over there. But if you enjoyed the video, please consider like and subscribing to the channel. I'm going to try to bring more comps and testings and different team that you can use in this game. I find quite interesting testing this epic champions in particular. So as I said, if you enjoyed the video, guys, like and subscribe, and I'm gonna see you soon with another video about Dragonheir Silence God.